and welcome to Newsmakers. Today we're going to be talking about the beginning of the Missouri legislative session. We're here at the Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri with our Missouri State Senator, Will Kraus. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So the start of a session, brand new year, what are some of the big issues you guys want to talk about this year?
Yeah, I would have to say, first off, this session has started faster than most sessions. More bills are being put to committees quicker, and we're getting them to the floor faster than we've almost ever had before, which means I think our leadership really wants to get some things done this year. So far, top of the list, I would say voter ID and ethics. I sponsored the voter ID bill the last couple of years, haven't been able to get it through the Senate. House has been able to get it through, but it's one of my top priorities and our leadership as well this year to have a debate on it and let the voters decide if they think we should change the Constitution to require having a photo in order to vote at the polls. And hopefully this November, they'll get an opportunity to say, yes, we think the Constitution should allow the General Assembly to require a photo ID to vote.
Let's also talk about ethics reform. That seems to be a major concern. There's been a lot of talk about that lately as well.
The House has already perfected a number of bills. It's a top priority for obviously the House. We're going to take a different approach this year. Instead of having one mega or one big ethics bill that has many different areas in it, and it will potentially those bills get bogged down, they've decided to go like more on the lines of one subject and just take care of this area, and we think that we can get more done, and then instead of having a bill that has everything in it and then it die at the last because somebody didn't want this to get done. But something like banning lobbyist gifts, reporting travel that is paid for by lobbyists in a more timely manner, having our personal disclosure forms reported more than just once a year are some of the things that are on the ethics front that we're talking about, as well as banning or stopping the revolving door by putting a time frame of a year before you can become a lobbyist after leaving the legislature.
That was actually what I was just going to ask you about. That seems to be an issue as well. How do you feel about that particular part of it?
You know, I think that a time period, whether it's a year or two, is appropriate. We don't need somebody to resign and all of a sudden the next day they're in the halls lobbying for a client. I think it'd be beneficial for us to have at least a year, if not two, so that a legislator wouldn't, like I said, be coming back and knocking on our door the very next day lobbying for a client.
You are also now the chairman of the Joint Committee on Tax Policy. Tell me a little bit about that committee.
So this committee was created several years ago, but it hasn't met in the last few years. 2010, I think, was the last time it met. We got that kicked off this week, and I am been elected by my members as the chair of that committee. It has a lot of power to be able to subpoena people to come testify in front of it. And it really is the taxpayers' way of trying to get to the bottom of something the Department of Revenue is doing or some other department of government in the realm of tax.
Given the kind of national climate for lawmakers, how do you feel about locally here? What's the climate like? You said you guys really feel like you're feeling like there's a little bit different sense this year? Mm-hmm.
I think that what we're trying to do in Jefferson City this year is, number one, pass some things we haven't gotten done in the last few years, like ethics reform or voter ID. And I'm excited to see what we can able to get done this year.
I'm sure it's going to be a really busy year.
Yes, it is.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Newsmakers.